Blessings to have you on our show, my friend.
Thanks. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Forney, I wanted to get it all started with welcoming you on our show, Sports Talk and the Success Table, and get it all started with how did you get involved with football as a kid?
Man, from Nacogdoches, Texas. So, growing up in Texas, it's one of the things you're just kind of born into, and, back during those times, all the kids, we all went outside to play, not kind of like how the kids are now, they stay inside, but we was always looking to go outside and get something going, so whether it was football, dodgeball, basketball, and then, you get to playing with the older kids and, it just kind of sticks on you.
Definitely. Hey, Texas, that's what they eat over there.
Big football state. Yes, sir.
Definitely. So, growing up in that area, who all were your sports role models?
Had a few of them. Of course, Michael Jordan for basketball. I was a big baseball kid. You know what I mean. So the Bash brothers of Oakland, Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco, they were a couple of my favorites. Had a couple posters of them. And then as I got older and started being more towards football, it became like Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, but really it was the Dallas Cowboys offensive line of the 90s. Growing up in Texas, I knew every one of those guys. And, Eric Williams, Mark Stepnoski, Ray Donaldson, Mark Tuinei, who else? Derek Kennard, Kevin Gogan. I mean, they had a bunch of them coming in and out of there. I just love watching all of them, especially Larry Allen, especially, finding out, at some point in time in high school that he was a relative of mine. So that really, piqued my interest a bunch.
For sure.
And then, of course, I got a chance to meet him when we played one time. So that was big for me.
Definitely, man. So coming from Texas, how did Hawaii come about for you? College, man. That's a lot of water around you.
Oh yeah, UH, baby. UH came about because I was at Trinity Valley Junior College, and Coach Tom Williams at the time, he was from the state, and he was recruiting kind of all the local junior colleges and areas, and he came out there and saw me during our pro day, and he liked what he saw, and they kept in touch during the football season. And so the next thing you know, I go on a visit, and they just laid out the red carpet, showed me the island, fed the mess out of me, put me on a boat with some Hawaiian tropic models. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be here next fall. It's hard.
So in 2001 for you, that's when you made the transition to the NFL. How did the league welcome you as a player? What was the moment like?
What do you mean, like the league? Like, are you talking about like what do you mean?
The league, when you transitioned to the NFL, how did the league welcome you?
Like the entire league, or just welcome to the NFL, or my welcome to the NFL moment?
Welcome to the NFL moment. That's what I was trying to get at, but
I got you. I had a few of those my rookie year. Probably my first one was walking into the Atlanta Falcons locker room and seeing, Jamal Anderson and Jesse Tuggle, different, I don't want to, my OGs, let's just, that's who they are. And so, they were guys that I used to grow up kind of seeing, and then now all of a sudden you step into the locker room and there they are. And especially seeing Patrick Kearney, because Patrick Kearney was probably the biggest defensive end I had seen up until that time. And I remember thinking in my head, like, wow, is that how all the defensive linemen in the NFL look? Just Kearney was just a specimen. I also want to say another welcome to the NFL moment for me was our first practice, because, you're kind of been anticipating it. You don't know how you're going to do or how fast it is, how strong, you just kind of want to know where you stack up. And I remember that first practice, I had a couple missteps out there, you know what I mean? First one, but I also did some good things too. And I felt like physically I can match up. So I remember walking off the field talking with our equipment manager at the time, guy named Horace Daniels, he had asked me, hey, he had a scruffy voice. He'd be like, hey, how you think you did, boy? And I looked at him, I said, Horace, man, I think I'll be here for a while, you know? And then, of course, you know, in the preseason, you get those moments where you get your first chance to start against, like, who was it at the time? It was Big Dan Wilkinson. They used to call him Big Daddy, you know? So I remember being in high school watching him get drafted by the Bengals and seeing all that. So, you know, that was kind of surreal. Like, they're telling me, hey, yo, you got to go play him. And at this time, he was with the Redskins. He had been on a big free agent deal. So, you know, he was doing pretty good for himself in the league. And then I want to say another one was the regular season game, my first start going against Bryant Young at the time, another guy who I used to watch in high school. So, you know, just pretty much just the whole league, just when you step out onto the field with somebody, you're going to see somebody that you grew up watching, admiring. You know what I mean? Like, I remember the first time I played against Junior Seau, I couldn't stop staring at him, you know, and I was like, let me stop staring at him before you think I'm weird or something out here. But it was just such an honor to be out there on the field with him because I just loved this play, and I used to watch it all the time in high school.
Hey, Hawaii and USC. Why didn't you go there, man? You role models of Junior. Come on.
Man, SC didn't want a good lineman at the
time. I hear you, man. Scroll it a little bit forward for that Atlanta Falcons team. I believe it was 06 when everything transpired with Michael Vick. I'm a Michael Vick fan. With the 04 Madden game, I would bump up his speed rating a little bit. Kill my brother in football, but
that team was undefeated. My brother tells me stories now. He would go over to people's houses, and they would have that game, and they're all picking other teams, and he picking the Falcons. So you know, Michael Vick was unstoppable on that game. So you know, it was kind of a thing for him to play with him, and also too, you know, hey, that's my brother right there opening up them holes. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, man. So with his departure from the Falcons, how did that situation affect the locker room?
You knew something was missing, definitely.
For sure.
It's kind of like when some of these big teams, when they lose their big time star, like you can even start with the Bulls when they lost Michael Jordan for a couple years. They were something was different, right? You know, I don't know what it was on the inside over there, but I can just tell you from my perspective, losing our superstar, it just felt like, oh man, we're not whole. You know, Voltron ain't together. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, definitely. So, scroll it a little bit forward for you personally. Life after football. How have you applied the trials and tribulations of the game to your personal life?
Well, you know, when you play football, you learn so many life lessons from different coaches. You know, they always trying to teach you something, you know, and sometimes you're not listening. Sometimes you are. You know, when you get more mature, you really start to focus in. And so, you know, I've just been able to apply hard work, discipline, the same work ethic that I had when I was playing, I applied to my training right now. You know, right now I train offensive linemen in the area over here in Georgia. And, you know, I was blessed and fortunate enough a couple of years ago, my biggest client was Andrew Thomas of the New York Giants. And I ended up doing a pretty good job with him to where he started telling some of his other teammates, you know, like Solomon Kinley, who went to the Miami Dolphins, and Jamari Salyer, who just won a national championship and made All-American this past year for Georgia. So, you know, my business is growing, and it's one of those things where I still have to study. I still have to put tape on because offensive line play is constantly evolving. And also, too, you know, you want to be able to adapt and change a little bit because some offensive linemen, you know, there's different styles of linemen out there. You know, you got your guys that are a little bit more the bruiser types, you know, they love the contact. And then you got some that are, I don't want to call them finesse, but they're more technical with it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to coach all of them. You got to be able to coach them all differently.
Definitely. My next two questions are brought to you by B&D Sports Media, and they include the 22 2022 Atlanta Falcons. How can the Falcons get better in the upcoming year?
Well, first off, shout out to B&D Sports. How can the Falcons get better?
Yeah.
They just need more talent at every position. You know, without getting too technical about it, because let's be honest, the league is about matchups, and coaching is a little overrated. You know what I mean? Let's be for real. Like, if you got them guys, coaches is overrated, because all you're going to do is scheme them up, offense or defense, and try and get a one-on-one matchup, and you want your best guy beating their best guy.
For sure.
To answer your question, say it again, we just need more talent across the board at every position.
Definitely. Hey, you got one of the best up-and-coming tight ends in the league.
Oh, yeah, and one of the best up-and-coming right guards, Chris Lindstrom as well, who's the first-team All-PFF, who was another guy I had a chance to train and work with as well. He's a great kid, hard work ethic. He'll be around here a long time.
Definitely. So my next question is surrounded by Matt Ryan. Will the Falcons move on from him this upcoming offseason?
Who knows? In my opinion, they shouldn't.
He's the contract. I don't know if anybody wants that contract, man.
Well,
yeah.
I'm thinking about it more along the perspective of what Matt Ryan has done in his career for the Atlanta Falcons. Like, let's be for real. When he came in during the time where Mike went to prison. You know what I'm saying? And the fan base, the energy was down, and Matt came in and had immediate success. Now, of course, you know, he had some key pieces to help him with that success. You know, Michael Turner running the ball, and, you know, Tony Gonzalez later coming in, and
Roddy White,
you know, emerging. Yeah, all that, you know. But, you know, think about it. Matt has been a first-team All-Pro for us. He was a 2016 MVP. He's made about 4 or 5 Pro Bowls. I'm not sure how many, but he's done a lot in his resume coming here, you know. And I think that he probably deserves a little bit more respect than that. I think he should be able to finish out his career here. And they know what he can do when you get pieces around him. You know, he can deal it with the best of them.
Definitely, definitely. Well, Mr. Forney, this concludes our interview, my friend, and it was a blessing to have you on, and we'd welcome you on for another one, my friend.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. Hey, can I give a quick shout out to, you know, all of I want to say, actually, I want to shout out my Instagram tag. It's F65 Performance. They should be flashing it at the bottom of the screen right here, right now. F65 Performance and Kynan Forney on Twitter. Give me a follow. You know, sometimes you can see different stories or posts of me and the latest lineman that I'm working out with. You know, I work with all 3 levels, and I enjoy it. You know, it gives me a chance to pass the game on and the learning lessons I've learned from it. But also, too, you can also see some good old Atlanta Falcons history, because I love to post pictures and videos of different things, because, you know, I got the block for Mike Vick and Warwick Dunn. So, you know, a lot of highlights. Come on now. People know that back during the 2000s, whether win, lose, or draw, we would prefer it to be win. But if Mike Vick was our starting quarterback, SportsCenter highlights was a must.
Always had a chance to win.
Thank you. We always had a chance to win, but there was always some kind of highlight on there. We could have gotten our asses kicked, but they always going to show some crazy run or whatever it was he did at that time.
He's a beast. Like I mentioned before, the 04 Madden, woo, it's a cheat code, automatic cheat code.
It's like Bo Jackson on the old Tecmo Bowl, man. I'm just glad that I can say I was a part of that history, man. You know what I'm saying? So God has been good.
Definitely. Well, Mr. Forney, it was a blessing, my friend, and shout outs.
Shout out to the Falcoholic. You know what I'm saying? Those are some good guys over there. You know, shout out the Atlanta Falcons. They always keep me doing some kind of something over there, you know, with autographs or either with community service, which is what I really love doing. But, you know, shout out to Rich McKay, Arthur Blank for always, you know, looking out for me all these past years. You know, that just shows the character of those men, you know, because I don't play another down. I can't play any more downs for them, but they appreciated me enough back then and now to still, you know, let me be a part of the organization in a small capacity. And also too, shout out to my wife and kids for allowing me and support me doing this, man. And shout out University of Hawaii and Nacogdoches, Texas, baby.
Blessings.